Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Hoffman of enlighteninglife.com, and this is the newsletter. We're going to do a video this week for the week of February 18th, 2019. And the topic of this week's newsletter is intention, which is one of the topics I write about a great deal because intention has everything to do with how we set up containers, energy containers for energy to flow into to create the outcomes that we want. But the problem with intention is we accompany them with expectations and assumptions, and that's really what I'm going to focus on in this video, is how our expectations and our assumptions end up derailing our intention. So in order to do this, we're going to have props. So I'm going to have a ruler, which is kind of a representation of the path of your intention. And I'm going to use this little prop because we're going to talk about this in relationships, because relationships are the best way to describe how this process happens and the best way for you to relate to it, because what I'm going to say is probably something that you have done or you can relate to very well in your life. So say that we have a relationship and we start a relationship with somebody. So we bring this person into our life and we say, oh, look, we are having with this relationship. So we attach them to our path. See if I can do this right. So we attach them to our path and we go, okay, you're going to walk down this path with me. Let's have a relationship. And everything goes well at first. But what immediately happens is we assume that this path is forever. And then we create all these expectations of, okay, we're going to have a relationship. We're going to get married. We're going to have kids. We're going to do all this great stuff. So while our relationship and our person, like maybe we're just starting out, is over here, where are we in the relationship? Well, our expectations have walked us all the way over here. Well, what's going on with the energy of the relationship? Well, the intention for the relationship has created this person, this relationship. But our intention isn't all out here. Our intention is over here. So we, through our fear, through our desire, through our wanting to have the perfect life, the perfect outcome, and to make sure that we move that along in the way that we want it, because we're afraid to just let the energy take its course. We want things to last forever. So nobody wants to get into a relationship and then have the relationship end. And we don't want to do that, have that happen to us all the time. But some relationships are supposed to end. Sometimes a relationship that you get into with someone is a sign to go, oh yeah, I never want to do this again. Sometimes a relationship is a lesson or a teaching opportunity rather than a journey that's going to last a lifetime. And some relationships don't need to last a lifetime. They don't need to last for more than 5 minutes, although we tend to drag them out as long as we possibly can because our expectations create that forward momentum. So when left to its own devices, our intention will move the relationship along until we get to a point and maybe we say, yes, I want to continue with you, or gee, no, you're not the right person for me, or this is not the right relationship for me. So thank you for your participation in my life and goodbye. And then you all just go off on your merry way. But what we do is we look at everything as permanent, and we think that if this doesn't work, then I'm never going to get another chance, or I'm never going to be able to do this again. So we take the person and we create this big thing of expectation, and we go, move me along the expectation path because I want this to last forever. So I'm going to empower all of this energy. But the problem is, the intention you have is only empowering your relationship right here. It's your expectation, which are basically, and I'm hearing the expression hot air, or pie in the sky, or castles in the air. Your expectation, which has no energetic support, is pulling the relationship forward. And you are, instead of being here with this person in the relationship, observing, learning, making choices, deciding, instead of being over here, you're all the way out here, which again has no energetic support. So what happens? Well, with no energetic support and nobody to actually make this work, I'm going to hurt myself right here. The expectation, suddenly something happens because it has no energetic support. Nothing is holding this expectation in place except, because my finger's holding the rubber band, except you. Your desire, your dream, your vision, your hope, or your wish that this will last forever, and please make it last forever. But what happens? It's not empowered by anything, so it's going to hurt. The expectation eventually, snaps back. Yes, that hurt. And what happens? You have a broken heart. You feel bad. You feel betrayed. You feel rejected. But what really happened here? Well, you weren't not in the relationship with the person where it was. You were on the path of your expectation. You were all the way out here, and there's nothing powering this because your intention said, I want to create a relationship and I want it to be like this. Well, at some point along that path, you have to do course corrections and reviews and assessments and decide, is this really aligned with my intention, or am I expecting it to be that? So I'm just going to pull it along. I'm going to artificially create this path that as long as I'm here holding it in place, it's moving. But you've all been in relationships that are a lot of work, where they're just hard. It's not easy. The relationship doesn't flow. Maybe the person is dishonest or they're disrespectful, or maybe they're just not really that into you, but you try really hard to make that relationship work because you're afraid that if it ends, if it fails, now you're by yourself again. So the first person who comes along, you go, oh, it's you. Welcome to my life. Let's create this. And by the way, I'm assuming you're here forever. So let's just create this fabulous relationship. And let's just make this work. And let's just get this done. And then it snaps back because there's nothing holding it here. The person that you're with isn't here. Technically, you're not really here either. Your expectations have a life of their own. They have an energy of their own, but they're not supported energetically. So the intention for having a relationship sometimes means you get 1 or 2 people, maybe 3, and you look at them and you go, yeah, you know, you're okay. You're not a bad person. You're actually nice, but you're not really aligned with what I want. So I need to let you go. And those are the choices we have to be willing to make to allow somebody who is aligned with our intention and who is going to be that person that we want to be with, to actually enter our life and to be part of our reality. That is that they are connected to our reality and we are moving along together, but our expectations aren't moving the reality all the way out to the end here, so that basically there's nothing to hold it in place unless we are physically holding it in place. So like I said, this rubber band is a good example for that, because the rubber band, if I'm not holding it, the rubber band is kind of here all by itself. Well, unless I stretch it out, it won't go here, but it won't stay here unless I'm holding it. So if you've ever been in a relationship where you're doing all the work, you're holding up all the energy, the relationship is working only because you are firmly grasping this, the end of this expectation, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to be here. But guess what happens? When you've got both of your fingers, so one of them is in the relationship, you're trying to hold it down, and the other is holding the other end of your expectation, you don't have any room to move. You can't let go of anything. There's no flow because you're holding tightly to everything. Can you have the courage to admit that maybe this isn't the right relationship, and maybe you need to, instead of waiting until it ends and snapping it back and breaking your heart, you need to look at it honestly and with a certain amount of integrity and say, well, is this right for me? Am I happy? Am I aligned with this? Do I like it? Am I paying attention to what this person is telling me? If you've taken my Raise Your Love Vibes course, you know, there's a great lesson in there called the invitation and the RSVP. So we invite someone to accompany us on our journey. We don't listen to what they say, like, maybe I'm not available, or now this isn't the right journey for me, or, you know, I like you, but I don't like you that way. You know, we don't pay attention to that, because as soon as we get somebody on board our relationship train, we whip out the expectations and we go, okay, this is where we're going to be, so let's go, without thinking that maybe we need to just step back and take a more discrete view of this and decide whether or not we are happy. Is this right for us? Is it something that we really love? So intentions are great. Just make sure that you're not assuming a path, that this is the path that your intention is going to take, and then putting those expectations in place so that when they eventually snap back, because they will, there's nothing empowering your expectations, that you are paying attention to what's really going on in the relationship. And if something isn't working right, if you're not in integrity with it, if it's not really aligned with you, that you look at it and you're willing to let it go. to make room for something else that is going to be aligned with you. And this is true, by the way, of everything in your life, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, because everybody is there's nobody exempt from what's going on right now, all these shifts and changes. So if you don't like something and you realize that you are well on that path of expectations and you're holding everything so tightly that nothing can move, and you're afraid to let go, you need to let go of the expectation. And if you let go of the expectation and you put yourself back in the present moment, which is the moment in which you're breathing, it's the only moment you've got, then this person or situation that may be wrong for you can fall off, while somebody else that is right for you can take its place. This is Jennifer Hoffman of EnlighteningLife.com. This is as I said, the newsletter video for the week of February 18th. I decided to do something different. I hope you enjoy it, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.